Welcome to spring in Western New York. Today I'm going to show you how I open my pond in the spring. Last fall, I winterized it to keep my fish alive. I have 3 little goldfish down there, and they are indeed alive because I have a bubbler. The bubbler aerates the water and prevents it from building up gases over the winter. So for the last couple of days, I have been skimming off leaves and getting the leaves out of the bottom of the pond. The water's nice and clear, it's beautiful. So today I'm going to install my waterfall. My bucket's all covered up, but you'll see how I do that just as soon as I start. Okay. My pond is about 5 feet in diameter and 3 feet deep, which will allow the fish to overwinter. In the summertime, I have a waterfall, which is right here underneath all this rock. Alright, I am clever and creative in covering up my pond. So I have a log in here to support the lid. And then I have pieces of PVC that support my filters and my lava rocks. So I simply set up my PVC in the bottom of the pot, this big bucket. Then I will put in my filters. The man behind the camera dug this pond for me about 15 years ago. I'm going to jinx myself right now by saying all of the equipment is original, including this bag of lava rock. So the bag of lava rock goes in on top of my pieces of PVC, and what it does is serves as a host for the good bacteria that keep the water clean and fresh. And then I have these 2 pieces of thick, meshy stuff that goes in on top of the filter. I simply put that there, and then I put my rocks back up on top. So we get rid of all the pieces of junk. And this has a little bit of black grate stuff that basically expands and waterproof fills in the gaps. So put this on there. Okay. So I arranged rocks around the top of the bucket to disguise it and make it look natural. And now I'm going to hook up my pump. So I have my pond hose here, put under some rocks for the winter, and then just move my rocks to unwrap it from its winterization. Didn't want anything crawling in my bucket over the winter. Okay, so this is the pump that I have kept in a bucket of water over the winter to make sure that its seals and things didn't dry out and crack. And I'm going to hook it up to my hose. So, hose, pond pump. So now this just screws on there. Put the cover on that keeps debris from getting sucked up into the motors. And then I'm going to drop it down to the bottom of the pond where I have a rock set up to hold it off the bottom of the pond so it doesn't collect the settled dirt things. So down you go. It's a little hard in the spring when everything is cold and stiff, but it'll go eventually where I want it. Alright. Then all I have to do is plug it in. I've run my cord under my rocks so that it's hidden from view, because everyone has a natural waterfall in their backyard, right? And then I'm going to plug this into my ground fault circuit back here and hope for the best. Ooh, hear the water run. It's filling up the bucket right now, and as soon as the bucket is filled, then it will start coming out the waterfall. In the meantime, I can pull out my bubblers. A lot of moss builds up on the rocks. You can take it off or you can leave it, whichever you prefer. Makes better sound if there's not as much moss, however. There we go. Voila! We have a waterfall. But now that the water has filled up the bucket, you can see that the level in the pond has gone down. So I'll fill up the pond to cover up the liner. Because the liner should never be bare and exposed to the sun and air. While the pond fills up, I'm just checking to make sure that I don't have any leaks around the edges of the waterfall. There's where the liner meets the rock. If the moss has grown over the top of the liner, the water will go outside the liner, which will cause my pond level to go down. So I just kind of pick back the moss from close to the edges and keep the water falling into the pond and not into the surrounding gardens. Okay, while the pond's filling, I'm just going to show you that the whole pond isn't 3 feet deep. This section over here is a shallow ledge, and that's so that I can support some of my pond plants up high. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any place for pond plants. The rest of the pond has a sheer drop-off, which helps to prevent any animals from getting into it. I haven't really been bothered too much by raccoons, except when I had snails. The snails always tend to want to crawl up the side of the pond to the top, and then the raccoons would come and eat the snails. I suppose they're a tasty treat to a raccoon. So no more snails for me. But otherwise, the pond plants stay in here all winter as well. I have a few that tend to do very well and take over, like the water parsley. Grows very, very vigorously, which is another word for thug. So be careful if you put water parsley in your pond. So this is it for now. This is what the pond looks like in mid-April as I open it. If you tune in come back and visit me in about a month, you will see that all the plants around the pond have grown up. There's hostas here, and it all makes it look very lush and tropical, and I hope you'll enjoy it. The pond is full enough now, so I'm going to turn off the water and keep an eye on it for the next few days to evaluate the water level, because if it goes down significantly, I'm going to know that there's a hole or a leak somewhere. Usually the first week the water goes down and I keep filling it, but then things tighten up and there aren't any more leaks for the rest of the summer. So there you have it. Have a great day.